It is a bone-chillingly cold day in Charlottesville, but that will not stop the UVA faithful and the students from making the walk across grass. A couple of players from Europe, first years in their program, will jump it up. Vessar gets in there, but Grunlow wins the tip for the Virginia Cavaliers. It's a North Carolina team that's really good at just about everything offensively, as Young misses a three, rebounded by Trimble. His stick back will go. Seth Trimble. Vessar too strong against one of the best shot blockers in the nation in Grunlow. Here's DeRitter. Good for three. ACC road games, all losses.
And more importantly, they've allowed their opponents to shoot 54.3% in those three losses on the road as Onyenso comes in.
Again, they're the second best shot blocking team in the country, only behind Georgia. Onyenso with the ball now. He's really developed on this side of the floor as well. And he finishes over Vessar with the offhand.
Use that left hand to finish.
Dixon pops it over Onyenso off the top of the backboard and knocked out to Thomas. Malik Thomas kicks it. Lewis sticks it.
Who played 11 years in the NBA, just mentioned that performance by Rich was the best shooting performance he's ever seen as North Carolina comes up with the steal and Bogomolov steps in, knocking down the three ball.
On the floor for UVA, Mallory, the dynamic freshman from Charlottesville, finds White, whose shot is blocked from three by Wilson, ends up in the hands of Lewis, three to shoot. Lewis goes into Wilson and Vessar. And Tommy Morrissey will call that a good basket with a goaltend. Derek Dixon, true freshman point guard, sets up Vessar, rattles it in.
As Vessar.
Vessar 48%. Now 26 out of 53. Onyenso finishes over Vessar. This is his second bucket in the paint. How about this, Corey? Wilson hasn't taken a shot yet. Against Devin Tillis, Wilson will muscle it in against the very physical grad student from LA. There's the first bucket for Caleb.
But Wilson's not used to not seeing that extra defender when he catches the basketball on the block. Now navigating one-on-one and has had success.
And it's stripped away from White. Wilson running the floor. And the nation's dunk leader adds number 61 to his tally.
Whether he has the ball in his hands or not, this time catching it, one dribble, the sweep over the top, and then the finish with ease, showing off his elite athleticism, which makes him one of the
back-to-back buckets for Wilson to tie the game. Here's Tillis leaning in off the window. Onyenso sticks it back, and he's got an early six. I'm seeing that early from the first-year player. Hall driving. Nice finish. Dallin Hall, the BYU transfer.
Hall, a very good rebounding guard, had 12 rebounds versus Louisville last week, and now gets Virginia another possession. And off the top of it, you get that extra possession.
Had rallied to tie it. Here's Bogomolov off of Wilson's screen, and he buries his second triple. Wilson trying to power his way in, gets held up by DeRitter, throws up a wild shot. It's Malik Thomas down with his third rebound.
And Virginia has numbers. Caleb Wilson is gassed. They didn't recognize Chance Mallory open on the opposite side.
Mallory now a contested three. Who needs to be open? Virginia is red hot, and Hubert Davis is red-faced, taking an early timeout.
Wilson becomes so dangerous, his ability to initiate as he finds Bogomolov on the other side with position makes him special, as you see Thomas making contact with Bogomolov on the left side.
DeRitter has the size advantage against Trimble. On the back down, DeRitter got it.
DeRitter can take smaller guys on the interior. He can bring bigger guys out on the perimeter. Very versatile on the offensive end.
He's got 11, and Mallory picks up a foul all over the shorts of Dixon. A drive and a finish. Sam Lewis has 7. The 6'7" junior. Here's Wilson facing up into Tillis, leans in and scores it. Mallory drives it. Searching for an outlet. Now rolls back into Powell and finishes. Recruitment. Tony Bennett retired before last year, but recommitted to Ryan Odom. And boy, where would they be without Chance Mallory? Wilson, a tough jumper for Caleb Wilson, who's leading the way with 8 for UNC.
Pointing to get the basketball to him on the block so he can make a play.
He found Vessar out of the double, though he has started to take over the game, Caleb Wilson. Back to Tillis. Hall wanted it in the corner. He gets it in the corner, and he missed it in the corner. And look at Jakari White. He outmuscles Trimble. Tillis will take a 3. Boy, did Virginia deserve that. Air ball. Caleb gets undercut and fouled by Sam Lewis. So
both these guys are playmakers, number 1 and 2 respectively in the ACC in assist to turnover ratio.
DeRitter grabs his own miss, puts it in high off the window. 13 protects DeRitter.
For decades, and right now the Cavaliers giving the Tar Heels a taste of their old medicine.
Hall defended Trimble well. Thomas bangs it home right in the face of Bogovats. Wilson off the back of the rim. Somebody's going to grab the ball at some point. It will be Dixon, who will lob it to Trimble. Trimble, 1 minute to go in the first half, dominated by the home side of Charlottesville. Bogovats buries a step back. He has kept Carolina around with 3 threes. Dixon dribbling out the final seconds of the half. Carolina's going to get a shot up here. Dixon against Onyensu. Step back triple. High arc in 3 is good.
Which forces Wilson to get rid of the basketball. And right now, North Carolina looking discombobulated on the offensive end until Seth Trimble bails them out.
Carolina along the perimeter. The freshman Derek Dixon into the corner. Trimble, same spot and same result.
Back-to-back threes by Trimble.
Lead down to 7. Here's Hall. Offensive rebound. DeRitter, no. Offensive rebound again. Grunlow smothered by Vessar. It stays with Virginia, and DeRitter on the 4th shot of the possession. Have we said that before? Dixon, 1-foot shot for Derek Dixon will go.
And Derek Dixon telling his teammates to box out, pointing out Vessar and Wilson.
Young with a strip and steal. Ahead to Dixon against Hall. Dixon, Wilson, slam! And here comes Carolina within 5. Caleb Wilson showing leadership as a true freshman. You caught this, Corey, from Derek Dixon.
Well, Derek Dixon, after making the basket, tells his teammates, specifically Henry Vessar and Caleb Wilson, to box out. But Hubert and I both played in a time where you pretty much had to wait your turn to be a leader. But you know I've always been vocal, so it's never been a challenge.
Hard to believe. Dixon off the window. Wilson tips it to Vessar, and North Carolina's on a 19-6 run. The Tar Heels have pulled within 3.
And it all started at the end of the first half, knocking down those back-to-back threes to make it a single-digit game.
Thomas will answer. 6-point lead. 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Dixon finds himself alone. Dixon sticks another 3.
But a breakdown in pick-and-roll coverage on that possession. DeRitter and Hall getting mixed up, allowing Dixon to have a wide-open look.
Hall driving. Hall with a good finish. Back-to-back buckets for Virginia to stem the tide. And got the ball back. DeRitter stripped by Wilson, who's shown elite hands a couple of times today, and then steps into Thomas to draw a 2-shot foul. Bogovats in the paint. Bogovats with a smooth touch cuts the lead to 1.
On the road at 22 years old, he's one of the veterans on this group.
White blew by Wilson on the switch, and Jakari White is the 9th Virginia player to score. And then Wilson runs the floor. A very difficult shot. Powell secures the rebound. Dixon again, eyes up, finds Stevenson. Derek Dixon with his 5th assist and Jaron Stevenson's first basket. They go to work with Stevenson against Hall. A size mismatch. Hall holds his ground.
Well, Hall is as strong as it gets, being able to get a low base
Vessar. Stevenson slams North Carolina into its first lead since the first.
Transition defense and their defensive communication. 2 on the ball. Leave Jaron Stevenson wide open for the easy.
For UNC against a Virginia team that one of the best defensive teams in the nation. Dallin Hall with an offhand answer. Good all-around game for Hall, who's got 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists.
And Dallin Hall's been able to find his way to the rim as Derek Dixon continues to find his way.
Double-figure game for Dixon. 3rd straight game he's done that. Sam Lewis gets in the paint and scores it. 63-62. Trimble floats it home. He's got 13. Back to a 3-point Carolina lead. But Vessar into Stevenson. Again has the size mismatch with Hall, doing his best to body him, and Stevenson just sticks a turnaround in his face.
I'm sure there are some people that would challenge that, and I'm sure Kingston would be up for the challenge.
Yes. Onyensu back on the floor. No ill effects after the injury that knocked him out. Onyensu is 4 out of 5 for 8 points, and Virginia's back within 2. Caleb Wilson back on the floor, guarded by Mallory. And it's a travel against Wilson. The first turnover of the second half for North Carolina, just its 4th of the game. Lewis gives it to Mallory. The freshman spark plug ties the game at 67. Testa Ritter with 7 to shoot. Guarded by Vessar. DeRitter puts his head down and gets it to go. UVA is back on top, 69-67, and DeRitter has 17. Wilson guarded by Onyensu. Comes over to set the screen. Dixon for Stevenson. That 3 is good. They'll switch Stevenson onto DeRitter, the Tar Heels. DeRitter spins his way to the bucket.
The Tar Heels off the screen and roll, able to pop, knock down a huge 3. But on the other end is Testa Ritter making magic happen in the paint.
Here's Wilson operating against Onyensu. Scores it. Boy, those were 3 quick moves. Rat-a-tat-tat. Here's Bogovats off a screen. Gives it to Stevenson. He's been the man in the second half, and he scores to tie the game, plus a foul. Big rebound for Wilson. Trimble. Trimble going all the way, and he scores it with a foul. Seth Trimble attacking. 11 turnovers for UVA, only 4 for UNC. Dixon with a kickback. Stevenson, yes, sir!
Allowing Jaron Stevenson to knock down another 3.
Jaron Stevenson with a second half of his life, and Thomas with a much-needed answer. Timeout, Virginia. And his Tar Heels lead by 4, closing in on the final minutes of play. Dixon into the paint. Dixon with a tough shot off balance, easily blocked by Grunlow. Here's Dallin Hall for UVA. 4-point game. Hall driving. Hall scores it. Right around Bogovats to cut the lead to 2. Dixon guarded tightly by Dallin Hall. Over to Caleb Wilson. Wilson, long steps off the backboard and good. Caleb Wilson with another 20-point game and a wave to the Virginia students.
Once again, a great play design to get Caleb Wilson with a head of steam, attacking Grunlow, getting downhill, tough position to put the 7-footer in, and a very difficult degree of difficulty.
The next foul will be a 1-and-1. Virginia's committed 7. Inbound to Dixon. Here's the double team. Dixon fouled instantly. 32 minutes. Only 1 turnover. Dixon way short. Wilson has the offensive rebound. And Mallory will foul Trimble. 70% at the line. In and out. Virginia still has a shot. Malik Thomas Transition triple, no good. Fight for the ball. Ping pongs out to Bogovac, and he's fouled with 9 seconds to go. Bogovac hits the second, 85-80. Virginia needs to score as quickly as possible. Mallory got to put it up. He does. He misses. It's Derek Dixon. How appropriately the North Carolina Tar Heels get their signature win of the season, 85-80 at Virginia. Jared Stevenson, 17 points all in the second half today as North Carolina rallies to beat Virginia. What was the difference for you after halftime?
Just playing hard, making plays defensively, getting the team together, and just getting everybody together. I feel like that was big. In the locker room, people were talking, people were stepping up, saying we got to play better, play with more effort, and I feel like we did that in the second half.
This was Jared Stevenson from Team United in Charlotte back in the day. Offensively, in the second half, you went off. You knew your team needed you. Were your teammates encouraging you to look for those opportunities?
Yeah, they were encouraging me. When I get the switch, I got a smaller guy on me. They encouraged me to get in the post, make a play. So yeah, just being confident in myself and my teammates pushing confidence on me, and I feel like it really helped. As
a defender, did you take personally what people were saying about your team's defense over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's very personal to me. I take pride in my defense. I push my teammates to give everything they got. I try to put my effort into defense. So yeah, that's something I take personal, and I try to put as much effort as possible in.
Jaron, awesome performance today. Congratulations on the win. A really signature moment for you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Jaron Stevenson, a North Carolina guys, a road win here at UVA.
Thank you.